Just recently, the Dallas Mavericks made one of the most shocking trades in NBA history, sending their 25-year-old superstar to the LA Lakers in exchange for Anthony Davis. A trade that had the NBA world shocked. People were wondering if Shams got hacked, what the Mavericks were doing, and the absolute fleece that the Lakers just pulled off. In this video, we will dissect how the Luka Lakers tandem has looked thus far. But before I get into it, if you guys could please hit the sub bell, it does wonders in helping the channel grow. Luka Dončić was a 25-year-old superstar on the brink of being the Mavericks' face of the franchise, leading the team to the NBA Finals last year and just 3 wins away from the championship. People thought that it was destined for Luka to remain a Maverick for life and one day bring them to the promised land. Averaging roughly 28 and 8 for his career, there was no way that this man was going to get traded. That was until Nico Harrison had other ideas. Reports came out that the Mavs front office had severe concerns about Luka's conditioning, ultimately prompting them to trade him for an injury-prone Anthony Davis, with concerns about their defense going forward. A trade that really made no sense to the casual NBA fan. Fast forward to today and, well, we see Luka in a Lakers jersey. The fit was certainly questionable going into the Lakers jersey, but I mean, when you have a chance to get Luka Dončić, that's not an opportunity you pass up. With Luka and LeBron both being really ball-dominant players, there were a lot of question marks as to how this was going to work out. While yes, LeBron James and Luka Dončić is an awesome duo on paper, they were both two extremely ball-dominant players that are, well, rather subpar on the defensive end at this point in their careers. This is why I believe it's really important for the Lakers to step up their defense come playoff time. We can analyze this clip right here as a prime example of this. As Jimmy Butler drives down the lane, watch LeBron James. LeBron James just doesn't really have that same effort on defense that he once had with the Miami Heat, with the Cleveland Cavaliers. And I think a lot of this is due to the fact that he's had to play as this really ball-dominant player for the majority of his career. So obviously he doesn't really have much left in the tank to play on that end. And this is no knock on LeBron. I think it's just given that he's 40 years old at this point in his career, it's unrealistic to expect him to be this lockdown defender that he once was. And for a Lakers team that has 2 ball-dominant players in Luka and LeBron that don't really play defense, it's a concern going forward. Here's an example of Terry Rozier crossing up Luka. As he comes down the lane and he sees that Luka's guarding him, he decides to take him one-on-one. I mean, it's not for Luka's inability to play defense, he just doesn't have the physical quickness to defend. The same example with Jamal Murray right here. I mean, the sad truth for Luka is that stars tend to pick on him on defense. And we know that Luka can defend, as we've seen it last year in the playoffs. I mean, just look at this clip of Luka locking up Chet Holmgren. Or again, in the finals against Jaylen Brown. Right here, he stays right in front of him and forces a really tough shot. Again, it's not a matter of can Luka defend, it's a matter of will Luka defend. But now that that's out of the way, let's look at some of the positives for the Lakers. On the bright side, they do have Luka Dončić and LeBron James. With regardless of what you want to say about the fit, those 2 stars alone is enough to make some noise in the playoffs. Which how much the game slows down in the postseason, the pick and roll ability of Luka and LeBron is going to be extremely effective, especially in a half-court offense. We can use these 2 clips as prime evidence of this, as we see Luka throw a lob to Jackson Hayes, and then LeBron do the same thing on the very next play, throwing a lob to Jackson Hayes. I mean, yes, Alex Len and Jackson Hayes are the starting centers, but I think it's going to be good enough just to give Luka and LeBron a pick and roll partner. I think another underrated part about the Lakers offense that we've seen is that they've done a really good job at surrounding Luka and LeBron with really good shooters. This season, Austin Reeves is shooting about 35% from 3, Rui Hachimura is shooting about 38% from 3, and Dorian Finney-Smith is shooting about 40% from 3. Austin Reeves is going to be really important to be that third option to LeBron and Luka as well, as yes, he's shooting 40% from 3, but he provides a level of playmaking that the Lakers just don't have outside of those 2 players. Over the last 10 games, Austin is averaging about 7 assists per game and 14 potential assists per game. I think the future is extremely interesting to look at for the Lakers. They now have a 25, 26-year-old superstar to build around when LeBron retires. And I think for them, it's really important to get Luka a second star. And yes, it is LA, it's Luka Dončić. They shouldn't have a problem getting him a second star, but I would just be really cautious not to waste his time in LA. Using the first round pick that they didn't end up giving up in the Mark Williams trade, I think they could get something really interesting next to Luka and to build with for the future. Some players that come to mind, Devin Vassell, Lou Dort, Dylan Brooks, these guys that can play defense and can knock down a 3-ball. very similar to what the Mavs had built is what the Lakers should do. I think regardless of what ends up happening this year is kind of irrelevant for the Lakers because they know that LeBron is retiring. They know that they made this trade with Luka in mind for the future. This was not a decision on the behalf of LeBron, on behalf of AD, even on the behalf of JJ Redick. This was a decision by the Lakers to trade for the future. And that's the gamble that they made. They said that LeBron isn't the guy anymore and that we need to build for the future. Yes, we can still compete now because Luka Dončić is that freaking good, but this was a move for the future. Regardless of who you think won the trade, whether the Lakers won the trade or the Mavs won the trade, there's no doubt in my mind that this will go down as one of the biggest trades in NBA history. Anyway, that's going to wrap it up for this video. If you enjoy in-depth weekly NBA content, hit that subscribe button and share this video with somebody that you know.